issue because the teachers were like, oh, Keme's fine, like he's not being bullied, he's just, maybe he's just being a little too sensitive.
But I guess I didn't feel like intervening.
I just got picked on for like silly things like, I don't know, weight or like body type and stuff.
Just any emotion, sadness, they just channel it into other people, try to dump it on someone else. The only way they know how, I guess.
I know I did this. I would go off and bug someone else because I felt low, so I wanted to feel bigger than someone else, just to know that I still had a power.
And the school is failing to address the problem. And
Students from area high schools participated in a focus group on bullying Wednesday at the Gazette. Editors and reporters spent 2 hours asking questions about what bullying looks like today. Here is a clip of the teens speaking about the issue in their own words.
I think that people use it as a tool for that goes along with their striving for popularity, and it feels good to be well liked and on top, and it's like a quick, easy fix. It's like a drug to get yourself to kind of put yourself up on a pedestal.
I was too close to my best friend, and people started calling me a lesbian, and that was it was just hard, and it happened from like once a week till every day. At first it just felt like teasing, like, oh yeah, haha, that's funny, and then after a while it just got to the point where I didn't even want to be near my friends because I didn't want to be called names.
So it hurt, it really hurt.
why didn't you tell them?
Because I learned from past experiences, when you show that you're vulnerable or weak, they just come after you more. So after you say something, they're gonna keep doing it. It's not gonna stop.
But from my experience, I've seen a lot of bullying around people perceiving this person as poor or not being educated enough also. A lot of times people feel like they're bullied for being too smart, but in Amherst, I've seen people pick on people who don't always speak up in class.
I think that the reason for the lack of, like telling someone that someone has been bullied is that they think it's some kind of rite of passage in high school, like, oh, it's girls get bullied, boys get bullied, it's okay, it's normal. And they don't see how much of an impact it has until someone...
Do you know what the guy...
It happens a lot, but I feel that the teachers don't. They wait till something big happens, and if you go to a teacher and say something, they'll talk to the person, but they'll just keep doing it. So I don't know.
That's like how our school works,
Yes.
though. Like, they don't talk about.
And I think a big part about what you guys are talking about is teachers not really calling out anything they see in their classrooms. I think a lot of that comes out of the teachers' ignorance of not knowing how to deal with those issues. But that's definitely not an excuse to have the victims' voices silenced because no one wants to deal with it or is able to deal with it.
There's also the teachers, like the administration and everything. Like, if they were like talked to about what the situation was, that's their job. They're paid to be there to help out the kids. And if they couldn't help someone out, it should be on them. Like,
Yeah, but the only thing that bugs me about the schools is there's supposedly a zero tolerance policy against bullying and fighting and all these things, and teachers here, there's going to be a fight after school. No one says anything. People do something in class, no one says anything. It's just dropped.
I'm almost surprised that teachers don't do more, because I'm assuming that most of the teachers have been bullied themselves, and all the I've heard grown-ups, bullying still affects them today. They still feel bad about stuff that happened back then, and it affects you for a really long time. So I think that teachers would see stuff like that, and they wouldn't want that on their students, if they cared at all.
I get upset when people don't stand up. Like when I hear homophobic slurs, racial slurs in classrooms, and I hear teachers not say anything. I won't flat out ask the teacher, did you hear that? Because a lot of teachers, I think, just don't know how to process issues of bullying. And that's a lot of the problem, is they're scared to put themselves out there, or scared even to be allies for children who aren't, the majority in their classroom. I think that's where a lot of the major faults come from, teachers just not being able, not having the training, not having the knowledge to really deal with that.
On the subject of like parents and teachers not really knowing what to do, sometimes I feel like I get the idea that maybe like most of our parents or teachers fall in their like 40s or 50s, and they come from an era where like you were kind of told to just fight it out and deal with it yourself, or deal with it like, so I feel like they kind of maybe all have the instinct that like we can just like work it out ourselves, and it might take until like all of us are in administration roles to know that like it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes you need a little help.
The group also discussed the aftermath of Phoebe Prince's suicide. In that case, 6 South Hadley students ages 16 to 18 have been indicted on felony counts, from stalking and criminal harassment to assault with a dangerous weapon and statutory rape. The vast majority of charges are bullying related and in connection with Prince's January 14th death.
What I really like that they did with this most recent event is that they paid a lot of attention to the victim, obviously, but they also took the bullies, they took pictures of the bullies, they put out their names, they didn't give them that sense of like anonymity that.
You're talking about what happened in South Hadley?
Yeah.
Oh, so you thought it was good that they...
Yeah, no, it's good. Because a lot of times, like, you hear about people getting bullied, but I mean, what about the bullies? Like, they're anonymous. Like, they know that their face isn't going to be put in the paper. People aren't going to be like, oh, that's a bad kid. They're just going to, like, they know they can get away with it.
If nothing else works, then criminal charges are the answer, because what else is going to stop the violence and the bullying? And I was also a little unhappy to not hear that, although there were criminal charges, I think that there should be, I don't know if there's some kind of program, but for them to learn about their mistake and what they did, and some kind of, or even for the rest of the school, or for the specific group of kids who bullied her, to learn, more about it and what it causes, and just how bad it's gotten, because maybe they never got to learn, their parents never told them, or were never there to tell them how to act and what kind of effects this has on people. Maybe they never developed that kind of empathy that a lot of people have when they go through their minds.
The consensus of the group was that bullying is not inevitable.
If people kind of just learn to become liked and popular the natural way, and not use the bully steroid, then they can kind of just I think they'd be much happier that way anyway. I feel like the most liked people at my school and in any of my social situations are not anybody who's ever used bullying as a tool to get there. They're all known for being great guys, great girls, and kind-hearted, and so it's not going to get you to the top.
For GazetteNet, I'm Catherine Baum.